So friend, today we are going to discuss the new topic of matrix algebra, which is inverse of a matrix. Now see what is the definition of inverse of matrix. This is the definition. If suppose A, if it is the given matrix, and if suppose there exists a matrix B such that the product of AB is equal to BA is equal to unit matrix I, then this element B, it is called the inverse of the first element. And we write this notation B is equal to A inverse. So see what is the definition of inverse of matrix. If suppose A, it is the given matrix, and if you find suppose the matrix B having this condition, the product of AB is equal to BA is equal to identity matrix I, then this second element B, this is called the inverse of first element, and we write B is equal to A inverse. They are called inverses of each other. B, it is called the inverse of A, or we can write A, it is called the inverse of B. So first of all, remember this definition of inverse of matrix. If suppose there are two matrices, square matrices, obviously A and B, having this condition, the product of AB is equal to BA is equal to identity matrix I, then this element B, it is called the inverse of A. So first of all, remember the definition of inverse of matrix. What is the definition of inverse of matrix? If the product of AB is equal to BA is equal to unit matrix I, then this element B, it is called the inverse of first element. Now there is one theorem on inverse of matrix that is called necessary and sufficient condition for existence of inverse. Now see what is this theorem? A necessary and sufficient condition for square matrix A to have an inverse is that A, it is a non-singular matrix. Non-singular matrix means if the determinant of given matrix, if it is non-zero, then the matrix, it is said to be a non-singular matrix. And singular matrix means having determinant 0, it is called a singular matrix. So see what is this theorem? There is necessary and sufficient means there are two parts. So obviously this theorem contains two parts. Now what is the first part? This matrix A has inverse. This is the first part. And what is the second part? Matrix A, it is a non-singular matrix. Non-singular matrix means determinant of A not equal to 0. So there are two conditions. So what is the first part? The matrix A has inverse. This is the first part. And what is second part? This theorem contains the second part, which is matrix A, which is a non-singular matrix. Now see what is the necessary part. Necessary part means suppose that the matrix A has inverse and prove that determinant of A not equal to 0. This is the necessary part. Necessary part means assume that a matrix A has inverse, and by using this condition prove that this A, it is a non-singular matrix. And what is the sufficient part? Sufficient part means prove the converse. Converse means suppose that A, it is a non-singular matrix. Use this condition and prove that the matrix A has inverse. So this is called the sufficient part. So see, first of all, observe the total theorem. This theorem contains two parts. First part, it is the matrix A has inverse. It is the first statement. And what is the second statement? It contains A, it is a non-singular matrix. So how to prove the necessary part? Necessary part means assume that the matrix A has inverse. Use this condition and prove that A, it is a non-singular matrix, and conversely means it is the sufficient part. Assume that matrix A, it is a non-singular matrix, and use this condition and prove that this matrix A has inverse. So first of all, prove the necessary part. So write down necessary part. So what is the necessary part? Suppose that the matrix A has inverse. So see what is the necessary part. We have to suppose that the matrix A has inverse. Use this condition and prove that this matrix A, it is a non-singular matrix. So let us suppose that the matrix A has inverse, say, which is B. So right here, say B. Now see, just now we have written the definition of inverse. What is the definition of inverse? If the product of AB is equal to BA is equal to identity matrix I, then this B, it is called the inverse of A. See what is the definition of inverse? If the product of AB is equal to BA is equal to unit matrix I, then this B, it is called the inverse of A. Now we are written here that B, it is the inverse of A. That means we can use the definition of inverse. What is the definition of inverse? Therefore, we get, what is the definition? If B, it is the inverse of A, then this is the definition. The product of AB is equal to BA is equal to identity matrix I. Now what is the next step? Taking determinant on both sides. So just take one term, that is this product AB is equal to R. So what is the next step? Taking determinant on both sides. So right here, taking determinant on both sides. So this is determinant of AB is equal to determinant of identity matrix R. So just simplify this determinant. Determinant of AB, this is same as determinant A into determinant B is equal to, what is determinant of identity matrix? If you consider, suppose the identity matrix 1 0 0 1. So what is its determinant? Determinant will be 1 minus 0 means 1. So determinant of unit matrix, it is always 1. So just write here reason, okay, determinant of identity, this is 1. So what we get? Determinant A into determinant B, this is 1. Determinant of identity matrix, which is 1, and 1, this is the non-zero number. So right here, this is the non-zero. So see what is this condition? The product of two term, it is non-zero term. So this is the result. If the product of A and B, if this is non-zero, so obviously both the terms are non-zero. If suppose one of the term is 0, then obviously the product, it is 0. What is this condition? We have this condition that product of two terms, it is non-zero. So obviously both the terms are non-zero. So right here, this implies determinant of A not equal to 0, as well as we have this condition that determinant of B not equal to 0. So determinant of A not equal to 0 means this is called the non-singular matrix. So right here, this implies that A, it is a non-singular matrix. So see, this is the necessary part. This theorem contains two parts. What is the first part? The matrix A has inverse. This is the first part. And what is second part? The matrix A, it is a non-singular matrix. So what is the necessary part? First of all, assume that the matrix A has inverse. Suppose consider the inverse as a B. and using this condition prove that this matrix A, it is a non-singular matrix. So what is the proof? We have shown that this total proof. Okay, suppose that the matrix A has inverse AB. So what is the definition of inverse? The product of AB is equal to BA is equal to identity matrix. So just consider one term, AB is equal to R. What is the next step? Taking determinant on both sides. So determinant of AB is equal to, what is determinant of unit matrix? It is 1. Obviously determinant of AB, it is same as determinant A into determinant B. So product of two term, it is non-zero, means obviously both the terms are non-zero. So if determinant A, it is non-zero, so this is called the matrix, it is said to be a non-singular matrix. So we have shown that if the matrix A has inverse, then we have shown that this matrix A, it is a non-singular matrix. Now let us prove the sufficient part. Write down sufficient part. So prove the converse. Suppose that the matrix A is a non-singular matrix. So see what is the inverse, what is the converse part? We have these two statements. Okay, matrix A has inverse, this is the first statement, and what is the second statement? A, it is a non-singular matrix. Now what is the converse part? Okay, suppose that the matrix A, it is a non-singular matrix. Now use this condition and prove that the matrix A has inverse. So non-singular matrix means determinant of A not equal to 0. It is called the non-singular matrix. Now see, we have seen one result on adjoint of matrix. For any square matrix A, we know that A and adjoint of A, they are commutes each other. So this is the statement of that theorem. For any square matrix A, we have shown that the product of A and adjoint A, it is same as adjoint of A into A is equal to determinant of A into R. So this is the standard result. So let us use this result. So right here, we know that. So what is this theorem? A into adjoint of A, it is same as adjoint of A into A is equal to determinant A into R. Now this A, it is the non-singular matrix. Non-singular matrix means determinant of A not equal to 0. Non-zero number means we can divide by this quantity. So let us divide by this non-zero quantity. So right here, divide throughout by determinant of A. Because this is the non-zero number means we can divide by that particular non-zero number. So divide every term by determinant of A. So we get, this is A into, now divide this first term by determinant of A into adjoint of A as it is. Into second bracket, just divide by determinant of A. So this is 1 upon determinant A into adjoint of A into A. And if we divide this third term by determinant of A, so determinant A get cancelled, so this is equal to R. So see what is this step? If you denote this second step, or if you denote this second number suppose by B, then what is this step? This is just like A and denote this number suppose by B is equal to, this is again B into A is equal to R. So this is exactly the definition of inverse. What is the definition of inverse? If the product of A into B is equal to B into A is equal to I, then this second element B, this is called the inverse of first element. So this is what exactly the definition of inverse. The product of A into B, this is same as B into A is equal to I. So according to definition of inverse, this second element 1 upon determinant A into adjoint A, this is called the inverse of first element. So see, we have shown that this matrix A has inverse, and this is the formula for finding the inverse. So this is the sufficient part. What is sufficient part? Okay, suppose that the matrix A, which is non-singular matrix, and by using this condition prove that this matrix A has inverse. And what is the formula for finding the inverse? A inverse, it is given by the formula 1 upon determinant A into adjoint A. Now let us prove the second theorem on inverse. Now this is the statement of theorem. If A and B are non-singular matrix, this is given, and we want to show that this product AB, it is again a non-singular matrix. And secondly, prove that AB inverse is equal to B inverse into A inverse. Now see what is the first theorem. What is given? We are given that A and B are non-singular matrices. This is given. So use this condition and prove that this product AB, it is again a non-singular matrix. What we want to show? We want to show that if A and B are non-singular matrix, then prove that this product AB, it is again the non-singular matrix. And secondly, prove that this AB inverse, this is given by B inverse into A inverse. Now this is called the reversal law for inverse. AB inverse, it is given by the reverse way, B inverse into A inverse. So let us write down the proof. Suppose that, now what is given? We are given that A and B are non-singular matrices. So right here, suppose that A and B are non-singular matrix. Now non-singular matrix means determinant of A not equal to 0. This is called the non-singular matrix. B it is non-singular matrix means obviously determinant of B, this is not equal to 0. So determinant of A, this is non-zero number. Determinant of B, this is non-zero number. So obviously determinant of A into determinant of B, this product, it is again the non-zero number, because these are the non-zero term. Determinant A, this is non-zero term. Determinant B, this is again the non-zero term. So obviously if we take the product of these two non-zero terms, so obviously their product, it is again the non-zero product. So this implies determinant A into determinant B, this is determinant of AB, this is not equal to 0. So if the determinant it is non-zero, then this matrix, it is said to be a non-singular matrix. So by this definition we can write here that AB, it is the non-singular matrix. So we have shown that this AB is a non-singular matrix. So see, this is the first proof. If the matrix A and matrix B, if they are non-singular matrices, then show that their product AB, it is again the non-singular matrix. Now let us prove this second statement. AB inverse equal to B inverse into A inverse. So right here, now to show AB inverse is equal to B inverse into A inverse. So let us consider this product. Consider the product AB into B inverse into A inverse. Now let us find out this product. Now associate B and B inverse in one bracket, write this A and A inverse as it is. How to write this product? Just write down this A as it is, associate B and B inverse in one bracket and this A inverse as it is. So simplify this term, this is A. Now B into B inverse, this is given by the unit matrix R into A inverse. So this is same as unit matrix means just it is unit matrix means it is just like 1. So A into I into A inverse. So this is again same thing, A into A inverse. And what is the product of A into A inverse? It is the unit matrix R. Now find out the reverse product. So write down here now. B inverse into A inverse into AB. Now find out this product. Now write down this B inverse as it is. Associate A inverse and A in one bracket into B. So this is B inverse. What is this product? It is again the unit matrix. So B inverse into I into B. This is same as B inverse into B, and B inverse into B. This is again the unit matrix R. So see, we have first of all find this product AB into B inverse into A inverse. We have found this product and we have found this as a unit matrix R. Secondly, find out the reverse product B inverse into A inverse into AB, and again we have found this product. It is same as R. So write in one line. So write down, thus this product AB into B inverse into A inverse, this is same as the reverse product B inverse into A inverse into AB. And what is the common value? We have shown that the common value, it is the R. Now see what is this step. If we denote this, suppose the first matrix by suppose A, if we denote this suppose matrix by B, this is again B, and this is the first matrix which is A, and this is same as the unit matrix R. Now see what is this condition. The product of A into B, it is same as B into A is equal to I. So according to definition of inverse, this second element B, it is called the inverse of first element. It is exactly the definition of inverse. So right here, this implies this second element B inverse into A inverse, this is called the inverse of first element. So write like this, that is AB inverse, this is same as B inverse into A inverse. So this is called the reversal law for inverse. AB inverse, it is given by B inverse into A inverse, that is called the reversal law for inverse. Now let us prove third theorem. If A is non-singular matrix, this is given, then show that determinant of adjoint of A, it is equal to determinant A raised to n minus 1, and secondly prove that this adjoint of A, it is a non-singular matrix. So write down the proof. Now see what is given. We are given this matrix A, it is a non-singular matrix. So right here, suppose that A is a non-singular matrix. So what is the definition of non-singular matrix? Non-singular matrix means determinant of A not equal to 0, that is called the non-singular matrix. Now we want to show this, determinant of adjoint A equal to determinant of A raised to n minus 1. So let us prove one theorem, or let us use one theorem, and which is the standard theorem. A into adjoint of A, this is same as adjoint of A into A is equal to determinant of A into R. This result, it is true for any square matrix. So let us use this result. So right here, we know that. So what is the standard result? A into adjoint of A, just write down one term, is equal to determinant of A into R. Now what is the next step? Taking determinant on both sides. So right here, taking determinant on both sides. So this is the left hand side. So this is determinant of A into adjoint of A. This is equal to determinant of right hand side. This is determinant of determinant A into R. Now just separate this term. So this is determinant A into determinant adjoint A, and this is the formula. Determinant of determinant A into I, this is given by determinant A raised to n. Just give the reason. This is the reason, and this is the formula. determinant A into I, this is given by determinant of A raised to n. Now let us divide by this determinant of A, because that is the non-zero quantity, because this is given A, it is a non-singular matrix. Non-singular matrix means determinant of A not equal to 0. This is non-zero means we can divide by this quantity. So this is determinant of adjoint of A, this is same as determinant of A raised to n divided by determinant A. So just simplify this. So this is determinant of adjoint A is equal to, just divide by this or just take a numerator, this is determinant of A raised to n minus 1, that is the required answer. Now secondly, let us prove that adjoint of A, it is a non-singular matrix. So write down number 2. Suppose that, so what is given, matrix A, it is a non-singular matrix. So non-singular matrix means obviously its determinant will be non-zero. So determinant A, this is non-zero means determinant of A raised to n minus 1, this is again the non-zero term. And this is non-zero means, if we denote suppose this as equation number 1, now this is non-zero means obviously this left hand side, this is non-zero. So we can write from equation 1, this is determinant of adjoint A, this is non-zero. So just give the reason from equation 1. And determinant of this term, it is non-zero. So this matrix, it is said to be a non-singular matrix. So this implies that adjoint of A is a non-singular matrix. So this is our second result. Can show that adjoint of A, it is a non-singular matrix. Non-singular matrix means just prove that its determinant will be non-zero. If the determinant of the matrix, if it is non-zero matrix, then the matrix, it is said to be a non-singular matrix. So thank you for watching.